divorce situation. Randy Rubin, who's a divorce attorney, is joining me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, and you know that we want to know all about this Jesse, Sandra, naughty nonsense. The stuff that happened overnight, of course, is that a paparazzi, a photographer, as well as Jesse, they got into a little bit of a tiff, both of them filing a citizen's arrest on each other. Can him being naughty or his behavior play into a divorce proceeding?
Not necessarily. I mean, California is a no-fault state, so his indiscretions or infidelities don't necessarily come into play in the courtroom. Sandra is the innocent spouse. Surely we all feel sympathetic towards her, but it is a no-fault state.
So let's talk about some of the things that we can learn from Jesse and Sandra, from Tiger and Elin Woods. When we were talking yesterday, I told you I have absolutely nothing. I barely have an old Navy sweatshirt, and you say even I could have used a prenup. You think everyone needs to consider getting a prenuptial agreement. Why is that?
I think absolutely. I think legal professionals, I think psychologists out there would agree, given the rate of divorce. Prenup is something that all couples should consider. Now, be mindful of the fact that going into a marriage, this is a honeymoon happy phase. No one wants to have to bring up the topic
like, hey, honey,
of
I
a
think
prenup.
you're kind of sexy, but let's get a prenup.
Well, it brings into this notion that there's an automatic lack of trust at the outset. But it's also, marriage is difficult. This is, one of many things you have to deal with, and this is one opener for seeing kind of what each other's needs are at the outset. Communication, this is a topic that some people may not want to discuss, but it's certainly one that should, because it's the financial picture of where you're going in your marriage. Is the wife going to be the stay-at-home mom? Is she going to give up a career for that? And if so, is she going to want to be compensated if for some reason there's a dissolution of the marriage down the line?
So do you have people come to you? I'm sure you have the husband that comes to you and he says, I'm trying to get this prenup done. But you must have the fiance who is like, what is up with this guy? He wants a prenup. How do you counsel people that are suspicious of a prenup into getting one or going through with one?
Well, I think that, if it is one spouse has reservations about it, the upside for them is that in some ways they may be able to protect themselves for, let's say, compensation. If the husband has his own business, the husband's going to want to protect that business. He may not want it part of the marital pot. Whereas the wife, who may give up a career, want to make sure that she's compensated fairly down the line. Now, the thing is that, a lot of times what you see is that some women are in love and they want to get married, and they're not going to think about the unlikely event of divorce down the line. They're not going to
ask what they should be asking for.
Yes. And I think that there's some questions that everyone can ask themselves in determining whether they should get a prenup. If before your marriage you own a house on your own, yes, then maybe you should think about a prenup. If you have maybe $50,000 or more in your bank account, that's premarital property.
Who has that before they get married? That's good.
Well, I agree.
Okay. Some of those issues.
Right. I mean, does your family have money? Is there, planning issues that are already at play?
Okay.
So absolutely. I mean, does the other person have debt? Did they go to med school? Do you want to be responsible for your other person's debt?
Exactly.
Does the other person own Microsoft stock?
I hope so.
So yeah, absolutely.
None of these issues would apply to me because I didn't marry a doctor. I didn't have any cash in it. I still don't have any cash.
But Steve is so sweet.
My dad is all tapped out because he gets his own stuff. So anyway, thank you very much. And I think these are the issues we're going to continue to talk about because, we love seeing what's going on in Hollywood, but we also are interested in how it can play. And remember, they're people too. So
celebs are people too.
There you go.
Thank you, Jenny. 9:18.